This is Let Your Voice Be Heard right here on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
But we are back on Let Your Voice Be Heard on 90.3 FM, WHCR, the voice of Harlem. If you are just tuning in, this is Stanley. I'm here with Selena Hill and Jason Illuminati Eligio. And we were talking about the NSA and how they know that you just sent your boyfriend and or girlfriend a nude pic.
Yes, they do.
That's right, guys.
I think they're saving it, too, to their desktops.
Oh, people, there have been reports of people who work at the NSA who, like, go through the nudes and, like, laugh and, like, joke around with them. So, yeah, that twerking video you sent to your girlfriend, they know about that.
Yes, they do.
But anyways, guys, we are now talking about the News Roundup. It's a segment where we talk about all the funny things that happen in the news, or the crazy, or the sad, or the depressing, or the business as usual news, like Fox News being racist. And I want to start it off with the person whose music we were just playing, Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda got into a gang fight in prison the other day.
What happened?
I guess he caught a body about a week ago, and the guy who he caught the body from, like, his friends are in prison as well, and they were fighting.
You said gang. Is he in a gang? Is he part of a gang?
He should have caught protective custody. I mean, come on now. We know all about Rikers. You know, they got the special cell units. Mm-hmm. Bobby, what are you doing, man? You trying to get in Gen Pop? What are you doing out there?
You get in Gen Pop and you make it out like your rep goes way up. I got plenty of friends. Well, you know, I'm not going to talk about that. But, yeah. Right. You go to Gen Pop and you hold it down. But, like, Rikers is Blood City, so I'm not surprised. Because apparently, isn't like G5 like a set of crib or something like that?
You know what? We know entirely too much about this.
You know, I'm from
Well,
East
so
New York.
when he comes out, we can expect him to be even more aggressive and even more.
If he's smart, he'll just like sit down and go make some music and get this money.
But if he's not smart, he'll catch more bodies.
Well, hopefully he didn't catch any bodies and he was just talking crap. But like him and his whole squad is in jail. Plus, they found a whole bunch of guns and a whole bunch of drugs the day that they arrested him. So along with all like the charges they have all those charges. And in New York, the minimum you're getting for a gun charge is 5. So
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Sorry, yeah. And like, I mean, that's an easy. You can do that on your head.
All right, Stanley.
Sorry. All right. You know what?
That's okay. So actually, I wanted to move it along. I have a really good news story. So there was this principal in Georgia
about a week ago.
No, yeah, it was about a week ago actually. She's this white woman, and while she was during the graduation ceremony, she forgot to let the valedictorian speak. So then she was like, "Hold on, guys, don't leave yet. Here's the valedictorian to give the speech." But then people, they were antsy. Graduations are traditionally hours long and really grueling to sit through. So people started leaving, and she was like, "You know what, y'all need to," she has a country accent, so she was like, "Y'all need to sit down." And then eventually she was like, "Y'all are being so rude, and look who's leaving, all the black people." And that's exactly how she said it. All the black people. So then all the black people, they got up. They was like, "Oh no, she didn't." So then you see people like leaving the stage. You see people leaving. And then she was like, "Y'all better," I think she was still trying to like get them to quiet down and sit down. But this video went viral. And then afterward, here's the funny part. When asked why she did it, she was like, I'm sorry, y'all, but the devil was in the house and the devil came out my mouth."
That's what she said.
Hold on. The devil's been making a lot of appearances lately. Creflo Dollar said that the devil stopped him from getting that $65 million.
Yes, he
now,
did.
This lady, who seems to be a covert racist, says the devil came through, put the words in her mouth to say why all the niggers, the black folks, are leaving the graduation.
I smell Hennessy.
I'm telling you, the devil is working overtime, man.
He must be. But the thing
is, what I don't understand?
Right.
The devil is fighting with God, apparently, in this ultimate battle over the souls of human beings. But he has time to stop fighting with the most powerful being in ever to go and mess with one white lady.
Here's the thing.
That's a real important white lady, man. That must be,
the NAACP came out and they said that is not an excuse. You will not blame the devil for your racism. She did admit that it was racist, but she was like, "God knows my heart. I'm sorry." But she was removed from her position as principal.
Doesn't she own the school?
But she owns the school, so I don't know if she'll still be compensated.
That's some serious white power. You gonna fire yourself from your job?
She owns the school?
Yes, she founded the school.
This is a private institution?
Yes, that mainly caters to black students.
They probably teach about abstinence too. But guys, I do want to tell you, should call us if you have news stories. The number is 212-650-6903. Again, that is 212-650-6903. I have some Jigga Man news. Jay-Z. So as you know, Jay-Z's failing company Tidal. I'm kidding. It's not failing. But it's not doing as well as he thought it would do, even though I'm paying for it somehow.
You got Tidal?
Yeah. I signed up for the free monthly trial, and then I guess it ran out, and I didn't realize. And it was like, so PayPal told me I paid the first $10, and I was like, God, all right. But I found out like 2 weeks into it, so I'm going to end up having to pay. But I like it, so I use it, so I'm not going to complain too much. But he's had a title concert for like a B-side. His B-side songs, I'm not really sure what that means. I guess like not really.
I like them songs from Reasonable Doubt we don't remember from 96. I don't know.
The non-singles, I'm assuming. Yeah,
something like that.
So like it was a pretty great concert. He brung out Beanie Siegel, Young Guns, Young Jeezy, and all these other guys. But then he did a freestyle, and in the freestyle he mentions Freddie Gray. Yeah, so I forgot the exact quote from it, but he's talking about like how people hating on Tidal, and you want to hate on me and bring us down like you did our man Freddie Gray. No justice, no peace.
Okay, wait. Slow that down. How do you connect the fact that you are in, well, not a failing venture, but not as successful as you presumed it to be, with the killing of a man in police custody? What relation is there to that?
That is complete ignorance, and that shows you how disconnected he is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He's on another planet.
So, and Selena, I know how you feel probably when you first heard this, like, oh, Jay-Z is talking about an important issue. That's good. But then when you listen to the context of how he says it, it's almost an afterthought for him. But I will give him props. Well, from what I understand, he and Beyonce met with Freddie Gray's mother, and as well as Mike Brown's mother. I'm not sure what they discussed or what happened, but like they did have that meeting, and Jay-Z has been known to do a lot of work for people of color in the background without trying to promote it. Right. So we should make sure we say that before we come for his soul.
Well, see, here's the thing that I have with these elite musicians who have so much power and influence in the world, and it's a little disheartening when they don't use that power to actually do something more than benefit their pockets. And that means they have a voice, they have a stature, and they have the ability to tell people, this is wrong, we should be taking action, we should be protesting, let's protest in a constructive manner so that we can pass legislation and so that we can change policy and these practices can come to an end. So, I mean, yeah, I'm happy that Jay-Z and Beyonce are working behind the scenes with Freddie Gray. And Jay-Z and Beyonce also came to a Trayvon Martin rally with Al Sharpton back in 2013. And, everybody, I think, it was for Trayvon Martin and Sabrina Fulton was there as well. And I mean, I'm happy that they have these little guest appearances, but honestly, I want and would expect them to do more.
Well, they're not going to do more.
Because they're musicians, not politicians.
Beyonce built an entire complex for homeless mothers. So, like, they do work, but it's up to us. These are issues we care about. We have to speak up on them. But I do want to bring in Alyssa into the conversation, who has some very interesting news. Alyssa?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know, most people do know, this week there was a verdict announced in the sentencing of the guy who bombed the Boston Marathon, Tsarnaev, and he got the death penalty. And so there's been a lot of debate about that, but I wanted to call in and mention it because what a lot of people don't know is when you get the federal death penalty, it actually triggers an automatic appeal. Mm-hmm. So it's not the end of the story. You're going to have an automatic appeal now, and then after that automatic appeal, there could be several collateral appeals that could happen depending on whether or not he wants to bring them or not. If you look at a situation like Timothy McVeigh, after the first appeal, he actually wanted to be put to death. He didn't bring any of the collateral appeals, so it'll be interesting to see what Tsarnaev decides he wants to do. And also interesting because if you don't know, the death penalty has actually been outlawed in Massachusetts, and most people in Massachusetts disagree with the death penalty, but because this was a federal case, they found 12 people that agreed this guy should get the death penalty.
That's pretty interesting. And also a fun fact, well, not really a fun fact, kind of a depressing fact. When he got the verdict, he said, when they asked him if he had any comments, he said, "I'll see you in hell."
Wow. So here's the thing, and I'm so glad Alyssa called in and gave us and talked about that story. The appeals process takes years. The reason why I was not pushing for him to be sentenced to death, yes, he did horrific crimes, but there is no way to properly punish this man for killing lives. He took an 8-year-old's life, and he took the limbs off of people, shed them to pieces. They had excruciatingly painful deaths, the 3 people who died, and over 250 people suffered. There's no way to repay that. Putting him to death is just going to cost us tax dollars, and it's just going to cause the victims and everyone else to continue to relive this pain while he goes through this appeals process for years on end. The death penalty has proven itself to be ineffective. It's outlawed in Massachusetts, but it's not outlawed in other states and states like Texas, and they still have high crime rates. So it's not a deterrent.
All I'm going to say is that, I mean, either way, if you put him to death, it'll cost tax money. If you keep him alive for 30 or 40 or 50 years, it's going to cost tax money. I mean, it's ultimately, at the hands of the victims and the families of the victims, their sense of closure. Personally, I accept the death penalty. I think there are some crimes where people just have to go. There are certain things that, hey, that's it. It's over. You know, I don't want to see you in the world anymore. Now, that's open to interpret. I can see Selena put the hands up like...
Send him to Guantanamo where they was doing that weird stuff with the hummus.
I'm not with that program.
Here's my thing. And also, like, even from a philosophical perspective, I disagree with it. The government can't create life. So I don't think that we should be take away life at all costs. And it's like, you know, I mean... I just think it's horrible, and the fact that we have to have this debate is horrible itself, but this debate is going to continue to go on and on and on.
Yeah, well, did you guys hear about George Zimmerman?
Oh, my God.
Talking
about death penalty.
Shootout in OK Corral.
It was just a matter of time. That's where it happened?
Well, no.
He's a loose cannon.
Well, this is what happened. From all that we know, him and the gentleman, what's his name, Apperson?
Another white man.
Another white man named Apperson. Hey, well, that white man's pretty tough, because I heard a lot of brothers talking about they were going to go get George Zimmerman. Mm-hmm. This guy pulled out the gun and shot through the windshield to get George Zimmerman. But let's be honest, this traffic altercation that occurred in Florida, these two gentlemen knew each other already. Mm-hmm. They had previous altercations. According to the police and the authorities, Zimmerman had pulled out not the police, according to Apperson, Zimmerman pulled out a firearm. Mm-hmm. Apperson took out his firearm in defense and shot through the windshield of Zimmerman's car. And, once upon that, the glass shattered. Zimmerman was injured and they were both taken into custody. But hey, you get what you give, I guess, George, but a lot of people would talk about they're going to get Zimmerman. This man is actually trying to make it happen.
Listen, I posted about it. I said George Zimmerman got into another shootout, and someone said the only thing I'm mad about is the guy didn't have better aim.
Now, it wasn't a shootout, man. Shootout is an exchange. Yeah. It was one shot fired, game over.
Zimmerman was like, "Oh snap! This is what it's like when they can fight back."
Exactly.
Can I say something about George Zimmerman? Mm-hmm. From the day that he was convicted, weeks to months later, he has continually been in the news because he continues to get in trouble. One time, he threatened his wife at the time with a gun. She felt her life was in jeopardy. She called 911, but then she dropped the charges.
Pistol whip his father-in-law.
He pistol whipped his father-in-law. He also threatened his girlfriend back in 2014. She called 911 and said that he's about to get his gun, or I saw him get his gun or something, but this man is crazy. It is only a matter of time, and this is not his first road rage incident at either. I mean, he's a loose cannon. He already took one life, and I just feel like he's going to have to live with just himself for the rest of his life.
One question. Why does the state of Florida continue to allow George Zimmerman to have a gun?
Oh, because he didn't do anything. That's why.
He clearly has
That's the issue
with
That's
guns.
The issue right there.
Well, guys, real
domestic
quick,
violence alone usually.
This is a hot topic. We got to make sure people know the number. If you want to call in, guys, and talk about this, the number is 212-650-6903. Again, that is 212-650-6903. People have been, because on Twitter, if you were on Twitter the day it happened, there were all sorts of memes, like my face when I heard George Zimmerman got shot, my face when I found out it was only a flesh wound. And then there were people who were like, oh, how dare you laugh at the death of somebody else? We didn't laugh at Trayvon Martin's death. Let me be very clear about this. When Trayvon Martin died, there were people parading on Twitter, on the news, on Facebook, outside saying Trayvon Martin was a thug. Trayvon Martin deserved to die. There was a new game on social media called Trayvoning, where you would lay on the ground with a hoodie and act like you were dead. They said all sorts of things about Trayvon Martin. They posted a picture of the game and said it was Trayvon Martin. So you're going to tell me that after all that nonsense you pulled, you're going to look at somebody crazy because they don't feel bad that George Zimmerman got shot at? You live by the gun, you die by the gun. I don't follow too many East New York rules, but I know one thing. If you're going to be about that life, you're going to be finished off with that same life. So George Zimmerman,
it's only a matter of time. Speaking of controversial things in the news this week, so conservatives, and I'm always coming at Jason's party.
I see her look at me, so I know there's going to be some Republican.
You see I looked away, right?
Conservative. I don't know.
I always have that Republican
I'm ready for it.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm always ready.
So there was this GOP event took place. I believe it was South Carolina. It was the South Carolina Freedom Summit, and while there, the president of the Citizens United Foundation, David Bosey, his mother-in-law decided to give a comment. So during her comment, she decided, the moderator asked her, what advice would you give the 2016 presidential candidates? Of course, he was referring to the Republican ones. And she was like, well, I think that, and hold on, I need to get the quote, because she called immigrants rats and roaches. I'm going to get the exact quote.
I don't know what you call black people. Damn.
Yeah, it's probably something we can't even see on.
She says, okay, so she said, 1 man, 1 vote. People are coming in this country across the borders like rats and roaches in the woodpile. And then everyone just started whistling and applauding. And then she was like, we've got a state like Minnesota that says it's not our business to check them out. We just register them. We got to get control. That's what they need to know. And then the moderator was like, how many people would vote for her for president? And everyone went ballistic.
Well, of course they did, because Republicans are stupid. Speaking of stupid Republicans, well, actually, I don't think this person is stupid. Mitt Romney he boxed with Evander Holyfield on Friday. And
how did he get that opportunity?
It was a fundraiser, and all the proceeds went to forgive me for being such a bad news reporter, but all the proceeds went to to fight, I think, AIDS or malaria. And I'm really bad with the information. Forgive me, but he and Evander Holyfield squared up, and you know what, my man Mitt Romney, he fought the fight, and of course, Evander Holyfield beat him, being the second black man to whoop Mitt Romney's behind.
Oh, get him!
That was a low blow.
No, that was a good blow.
That was a low blow. All right.
But so I didn't want Mitt Romney to be president, and I'm glad that he's not president, but I don't think he is a horrible person. I just think that he is all wrong with his ideology.
Stanley, have you seen it now? Republican does not equal evil.
Well, yeah, you're right. No, I see that, but it's very hard to separate the two when they're blatantly coming for people. When you have someone like, say, Fox News, an entire tabloid, saying that poor people are leeches and they just want to be lazy and collect food stamps, and it's very hard to see someone as a human being when you have a Republican like Paul Ryan just pretty much saying that anyone who goes to college and take out loans is lazy.
No, it's true. And we all know Mitt Romney's infamous remark about the 47% who are all moochers off the government and can't stand for themselves. I mean, Jason, how do you defend and justify him talking about half the country like that?
Okay. See, I got to defend Mitt Romney. Hey, I'm gonna put it out there. I voted for Mitt Romney.
All right? What?
No, for real. I voted for Mitt Romney. I got my own issues with the president now. I don't agree with certain things. So there are things about Mitt Romney that I can agree with. As far that was Ronald Reagan. But as far as Mitt Romney talking about the 47%, you have to understand that this man was trying to talk to the general electorate. And just like that woman in South Carolina was talking that populist, crazy, isolationist nonsense, he was talking class warfare, but he didn't want to get into the particularities of it. Remember, we were coming right out of the Wall Street movement, Occupy Wall Street movement. Everyone was talking about 99%, the 1%, blah, 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 right? He's talking about the 47% because he has to, speak into the same jargon that is the part of the national discourse about class warfare. Heck, the president now is still talking about class warfare. I mean, this week he talked about how the 25 top hedge fund managers make more than all the teachers in the United States of America. You know why? Heck, they're hedge fund managers. You're managing hundreds of billions of dollars. Your percentage of pay is going to be significantly higher than a kindergarten teacher. Yeah. I make a certain amount of money. I went to engineering school. You want to make the same amount of money? Go to engineering school. Go to law school. Go to medical school.
Well, the access isn't always there.
Now, that's the issue. Access. I agree. I am 100% for the equality of access and opportunity, but not the equality of results.
Yeah, and I just want to say something, and I can tell you about access because I was someone who went to college and was very involved. And then when I graduated trying to get in politics, there were people who they had these high-level managing jobs or high senior level jobs. And it was because their uncle was elected official. Yes. Or because they interned for somebody because they could afford to work for free. And I couldn't do that. That's a problem. So don't tell me, you can't tell me if you want this job, apply for it. I can't afford it.
Yeah,
that is true. You're absolutely true about that.
And I think that's the heart of the matter, is the fact that we all don't have access to educational opportunities and upward mobility. So when you hear people saying the 47% of the country is just this one way and they just mooch off the government, it's hard hitting because it's like, well, what are you doing to help? First of all, that's not the truth, but what are you doing to help that situation and to progress this issue in our country?
Well, guys, we got into this a lot and we went over actually. So we have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about Amtrak and America's falling infrastructure. Have you ever driven on a highway and felt bumps the entire time? Yeah, that's what America is right now. A walking speed bump. This is Let Your Voice Be Heard.